Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, second hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning of April 7th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your starts on this Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. Coming up, we'll get back. We got plenty more baseball talk to get underway here. We've got the Brew Crew Game 2 tonight between the Brewers and Boston Red Sox. 5:45, you can catch that game right here on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So we'll get back to that. We've got Badger Chat coming up next hour with Mr. RJ Cardinal. So we'll talk some Badger hoops with John Blackwell, not coming back to Wisconsin, going through the transfer portal or the NBA draft. One of those options is not coming back to Wisconsin. So we'll hit that up. We'll talk about hockey. I was just blanking on that. So talk a little men's Badger hockey here this morning as we get set for the Frozen Four too with RJ. So that's coming up next hour. We'll talk a little green and gold, continue our draft prospect series as we do a little bit of a countdown of some potential targets, draft targets for the Packers for day 2. So, all right. Let's talk some hoops, though, to open up this hour. Bucks are back at it tonight, taking on the Brooklyn Nets as they wrap up their regular season. But the story this week has been about Giannis and Lori Nickel from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Last couple days, there's been different parts to each series. And yesterday we looked at a couple of them that she, in a series of interviews with Giannis, in a wide-ranging interview with the Greek freak himself, Giannis. Really some awesome stuff from Lori. And I highly recommend to go and look at it. Another one dropped yesterday. And yesterday when we were talking about before this one dropped, we were kind of, looking at the first two parts of that series that dropped. It didn't really paint the greatest picture of maybe Giannis coming back. But this one that dropped yesterday after we got off the air, kind of a little pump the brakes here. And it was more about, could we see Giannis coming back to the Milwaukee Bucks? And Lori is such a fantastic writer. I wish I could just have story time and read this whole thing too, but you got to go and read it. But a little bit of a part, I'm just going to read portions of this, mostly the quotes here. But this part here, she wrote, he scrubbed his social media accounts, booed back at fans in defense of his teammates and himself, and tried to keep playing. There's beauty in the struggle, and hard times never scare someone with a background like Giannis, but everyone else has changed. In 5 years, Giannis has gone from Wisconsin's darling adopted son and hero of the 2021 NBA championship to something else, the villain. Would he be willing to talk about it? Yes, he said. But there are a lot of questions, pages full in a notebook. It's okay, he said. He will answer them all. He wishes he could just answer them with a curtly yes or no, not care at all what anyone reports or thinks or does. But he does care what Bucks fans think. So this piece is more so of kind of a Q&A back and forth. All right, I'm not going to go through, again, all of them. But it starts off with the whole Adrian Griffin thing about whether he was the guy who got him hired and then later fired and such. But one question she straight up asked, do you see a path for you to come back and stay here? Giannis answered strictly 100%. Yeah, Yeah. All right. I mean, that's straight from the man's mouth. Follow-up question was, what would you need to see? And it was a lengthy answer. But he said, everything about my decision is based on winning. Is based on a winning culture. Like you saw, I talked with Boston's head coach, Joe Mazzulla. I said, you had so many opportunities to make excuses, but you didn't. And he said, oh, they're good players. I said, no, it's about the mentality that you installed in your place. His Vasilis Panolis, the same thing, the way I love, it's his Greek coach in Greece. It's about the mentality, I think, that he's installed in the Greek national team, that we are here to give everything that we have. We are here to bond together. We are here to figure out ways to win. No excuses. Move as a group, and you move as a unit. So I love that. I won't say that our team right now is not like that, but maybe I might be wrong. But I don't think I am. I have the most years out of everybody in that locker room. I think that some people know how to win. Some people don't. It's not because they don't want to. It's just because they've never been at that stage before. As long as it's great organized basketball and a team that's willing to play selfless basketball and chase some goal that's bigger than ourselves, I'll be here. Do you see that with the Bucks? You've been around, 10 years? You tell me what you see, he asked Lori. And she responded by saying, I see that there's an off button with them, and right now it's off. And I never understood this concept of a gap year with you. That makes no sense to me. I see major lacking examples of good leadership. So then to keep you here, is it about a system? Or is it about a coaching change, a management change? Giannis responded by saying, I will never, ever be in a position to affect somebody's life. I can't do it. My heart doesn't go that way. Sometimes I say my opinion, but I would never push the button. That's not who I am. To me, it's about winning, a good system, a system that I can thrive. But I don't care about be myself, because sometimes in order for you to win, you don't win in your own terms. I just want to feel like I'm part of something bigger, chasing something. Next question was, this is a question I would ask myself if things were bad, so I'm going to ask you as well. Is there anything that you think you did to upset the owners? Giannis said never. John Horst, the general manager. Giannis said never. How is your relationship right now with John? John Horst, I talk more with him, not as much as I've talked to him in the past. But yeah, I talked with John all through the summer. But that's pretty much, it's not the same as before. I talked to the former Bucks president, Peter, when he was here every other day. And even now, when he's not here, I still speak with him. Lori asked, do you understand why I'm asking you this? I feel like they're not making you live with something. I can't put my finger on it. And again, Giannis with a thought-out answer. I'm going to tell you my opinion. Then you have to interview them, talking about the Bucks. And they can tell you their opinion. I carry myself in such a way that it's very hard for me to be upset with somebody, even with my teammates. If you walk in a locker room, they will tell you Giannis has never raised his voice. Giannis leads with example. Giannis is not, and can't say this word. My job is to play basketball. That's why I get paid. That's what I love to do. Just play basketball. My job is not to organize things and bring the pieces. That's not my job. I'm not one of the guys that ever did disrespect the ownership. Why? I came from nothing. Zero. I grew up in a bed that was like this, and he points to a loading cart in the hallway. Me and my brothers had to sleep sideways, like sardines. So what do I look like if I'm going to the owner saying, I want this, I want that, I want that? They give me a life that I would never have imagined. I'm living an incredible life, and not just for my kids, my nieces, my brothers, my mother, people that I take care of in Nigeria. So who am I to go and say, this is not good enough and I demand this? He was later asked, how bad is this rift between you and the team and you not playing down the stretch being held out? Because this has been a big topic the last couple of weeks, right? Giannis said, I get it. I've been hurt. I was on a minutes restriction when I came back from being hurt. But why don't I play it out? To keep my value high so I could get traded? I don't care if it's the right thing. I don't care if it's a smart thing. I don't. I just want to play. This is what I do. I play when I'm able to play. I didn't sit out my first season when we only won 15 games. Why? When it was the NBA Finals, did I come back six days after a serious knee hyperextension? Why? It doesn't change. This is who I am. And now you're telling me to go against my nature. So, to kind of wrap it up, and this might be the biggest key of all for the Bucks to try to keep Giannis if they want to keep Giannis. This year, you didn't have a wingman, that top scorer, co-leader to share the burden. Dame could do that. Brooke could do that. Chris, Drew. If you look at your games in November particularly, where you were sometimes surrounded by 3 or 4 defenders and you're being pulled to the ground, you looked like you were overexerting yourself at times. You looked like you felt like you had to carry this team alone. You have never really addressed that burden. And Giannis responded, it's hard. It's really hard. I'll say this. At the end of the year last year, I kind of played like that when Dave got hurt. Anybody that thinks that without having a person next to you to share that load and to bounce ideas off and play, he does not know basketball. Lori said at least one. Yes, you have to have a guy. Like the period that me and Dame was healthy, we won the NBA Cup. Yin and yang. You need to have that guy, and you need to have everyone fill their roles. Lori followed up by saying, it's too much for one person to bear. It takes a toll mentally, too, Giannis said. Yes, you won't win. You won't win. You won't win. You won't win. People say, oh, the 21 championship, blah, blah. Giannis carried everybody. I did not carry nobody. I had Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, PJ Tucker. I did my job. And sometimes I had to do my job a little bit more, and sometimes a little bit less. This year, coming in, knowing that I have this burden, which I've seen in the history of the game, one player cannot win. So I'm fighting for something that's greater than me. But I know deep down, guys, it's almost impossible. It's like filling the perfect bracket. Nobody's ever done it. So that's what you're asking me to do. He also, just to kind of wrap it up, he said, is it bad for me saying I'm 31 years old, I won the championship when I was 26 years old, then the question creeps in your head, did I wait too long? Did I do the right thing? To which Lori said, did you wait too long for what? And he responded, being here, staying in Milwaukee. But then I'm like, no, this is what I want. I want to be here. I want to be with my team. I want to win here again. This is my home. I've spent more years here than in Greece. It's my home. I want to help the community with my wife, my brothers. Thanasis is loved here. My brother, my mother are loved here. My kids and I, it's a normal life. I have a normal life. If you go somewhere else, all this switches. But I don't want to look back at life and be like, He paused there. His brothers joined him and such. This is why you have conversations with all-time greats like KG. Dirk was in the same position, and he chose to stay. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. So, you hear that. This is straight from Giannis. You can go to ESPN.com and read their latest write-up about anonymous sources, calling it's like a funeral. Giannis has one foot out the door, 1 foot in. But this is straight from Giannis. When you hear this from Giannis, do you believe him? Do you trust him? Do you feel maybe better about the chances of him staying? Because I feel like he wants to be in Milwaukee under the biggest. Because yesterday we threw out the question, okay, if he wants to, does he want the family life where, all right, because he mentioned it right there, living a normal life, can walk down the streets without being bothered or paparazzi and such. And let's face it, you go to New York, you go to L.A., there's going to be more of it. So he wants to be in Milwaukee, but he wants to win too. So I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Giannis, truthfully, honestly, wants to stay in Milwaukee. Even with all the issue that he had with Wes Eden saying extension or traded, with the lack of communication kind of going on here, I feel like Giannis wants to stay. As long as the Bucks are willing to, all right, maybe do a little bit more this offseason, maybe bring him in some more help. I think maybe the question now is, do the Bucks want Giannis to stay? Because for the longest time, the Bucks, yes, wanted Giannis, obviously. But maybe for the first time in a while now, we have to ask the question, do the Bucks actually want Giannis? That, to me, is the big unknown. They don't. He won't be suiting up for them next year. But give me your overall thoughts on the latest interview here with Giannis. All right, hit me up with a text or chime in on the video stream, the Section 105 chat. We'll take a quick break. Plenty more to get to coming up after these quick words. Spring is here at Eau Claire, and that means it's the perfect time to freshen up your home. At Carpet City Flooring Center, now is the season to take a look at what's under your feet and imagine what it could be. From soft, comfortable carpet that makes any room feel cozier to luxury vinyl planks and tile built for busy homes. There's something for every space, every budget, and every lifestyle. Maybe it's one room that needs a refresh, or maybe it's time for a full home update. Either way, their team is here to help you guide through it all, from choosing the right style to professional installation that you could count on. Because spring isn't just about cleaning out the old. It's about bringing in something better, a brighter space, a cleaner look, a home that feels new again. So if you're ready to upgrade this season, stop in and see what's possible. Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, where your next project starts from the floor up. We got a couple of, again, another Grind My Gears Tuesday about Contreras. Contreras has easily, I'd probably say 100% has been the popular pick for a Grind My Gears Tuesday. But Levi says, what grinds my gears, Wilson Contreras, you were barely grazed by this pitch. I know this goes beyond one game, but be a man. Don't threaten to take one of them out. This is part of baseball. Woody could have put one in your ear. Let your bat do the talking like it did in the ninth. Be better. I think did even like Woodruff, if you saw the clip, did even ask, like, did it hit him? Like, he couldn't even tell. Like, I don't think it. You'll even look at the replay. I mean, what, grazing the knuckle, for crying out loud? I mean, geez Louise. So, Chadwick, a.k.a. C-Bomb, says, we know I'm not a basketball fan, but don't you think these comments about Giannis having to do it himself is a shot at his current teammates? How do you feel they will take that? Well, I mean, is he wrong in a lot of ways? I believe he is right, and I don't think he meant to take a shot at them, but it could be easily perceived that way. Evan says, so sick of Giannis, trade him as soon as possible. All right, I will ask you that, Evan, why? Or for anybody else, do you have a problem with Giannis's comments? Do you have a problem with what he's saying? And to follow it up with you, Evan, I would ask, why? What is it about just curious. I'm not disagreeing with you or what. I'm just curious, what about those comments? What about Giannis? Do you want to see the Bucks move on from him? And in your words, as soon as possible. And to the rest of you, do a lot of you feel the same way? Do you want to see Giannis gone? Do you want to see Giannis out of Milwaukee? I'm genuinely curious. Hit me up. All right. Send a text that over. 715-830-1912. So, it's not a race to get boxes of Kleenexes, Paul. It would be a race if somebody could drop off a coffee here this morning, though. That would be late night. We had baseball practice last night. Then I got to watch national championship along with a little Brewers game. Yeah, it was a late one. So we're powering through. I can't wait till I can maybe go grab something. But no, don't need boxes of Kleenexes. We're getting the job done, man. So, but appreciate the thought out there. So we do have to take a little bit of a break coming up here because we're running a little bit behind. But I want to have some fun with this too with Masters Week. Come on, we got the Champions Dinner tonight. Okay, the Champions Dinner. And what would you put out there for if you were the Masters champ? Okay, what would the menu be for you? Have some fun with this. All right, let's have a little fun with this. That's what sports is all about, right? Have a little bit of a little banter back and forth, or a little bit of some fun chat and such. So if you put together your Masters Champions Dinner, what would you put on there? What would Surveyor Sam put together? What would Chadwick Seabaum put together? What would the rest of you put together? All right. Have some fun with it. Send it on over. Okay. What would Paul or Heck or Zach on the Section 105 or Jordan or Joe, those guys in the chat, put together? I want to know what you got. All right. Let's take a quick break. But send me your thoughts on the whole Giannis thing. I mean, are some of you saying you're tired? Is it the Aaron Rodgers thing again, where you're just like, I'm tired of him? Go away. Go away. I guess I'm essentially asking, who do you fault in this thing? Is it ownership? Is it Giannis? Honestly, I don't think one side is not to blame. I think both sides, there's a lot you could point to on both sides, like, hey, you could have done this better. You could have done this better. You could have communicated better. You could have handled this better. But, I mean, that's, right? I mean, we always have to pick sides in this thing. So, do you want Giannis gone? We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Looking for the perfect place to kick back this spring and summer? Well, then you need to head on over to the VFW Post 305, Eau Claire's go-to spot to relax, grab a beverage, and to enjoy the moment. Inside, it's a great place to meet up with friends, but when the weather warms up, it's all about the patio. With one of the best river views in town, there's no better place to soak up the sunshine, unwind after work, or spend a weekend afternoon. Cold beverages, great people, and a view that you can't beat. VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. Your spot to hang out this season. All right, I got another kind of question thing to throw out there for you. All right. Apparently today, this day in sports history, 37 years ago today, the cinematic classic Major League was released in theaters. All right, we all love Major League. Okay, if you're a baseball fan, we all love Major League. However, I'm going to hold you to just choosing one. What's the best line in that entire movie? Anybody who's played baseball, slow pitch, beer league, softball, or just a general conversation has probably thrown out a line from Major League. Just a bit outside. Tried the corner and missed. We wear caps and sleeves at this level, son. Too high? What do you mean too high? Some I probably can't say right now either, but hey, there's a lot of them, right? We have quoted this movie at length in everyday situations, or whether you've been playing, or heck, maybe even coaching Little League. Maybe coaches have kind of, said it amongst themselves. But if you had to pick just one, I only want one. If you had to pick just one line about the Major League movie, what would it be? What are you talking about, Evan? I'm sorry you're emotional about it, Dan. It's the same reason why the Brewers traded Peralta, why the Packers should have traded Rodgers a year before they did. It's how small market teams stay competitive for the future. So I'm not emotional about it. I just literally asked you a follow-up. Why do you want him to be traded? All right, so you gave it to me. If you think I'm emotional about it, all right, more power to you, man. More power to you, buddy. But, all right. Honestly, though, I don't think small market has anything to do with it with Milwaukee from a payroll surveyor. I can't say that about Evan, so can't say that. But I don't think that has a whole lot to do with it. It's not comparable to the Freddie Peralta thing. That is literally because the Brewers couldn't afford Freddie Peralta and a new contract. There's more comparisons to it with a Rodgers one. That one I would agree with. But I'm not sure where you're getting at on the emotional side of things there. But all right, so you think it's because it. All right, that's your opinion. Cool. Ben says absolutely not to trade Giannis. I want him to stay with the Bucks forever. I agree. I think both sides are to blame in this whole situation. But anybody who wants Giannis gone doesn't know or remember what Bucks basketball was like before Giannis. Get ready for consistently competing for 8 or even 9 seeds, or maybe even 10 seeds now with the expanded playoffs too. But John also says that I want Giannis to stay throughout his entire career with the Bucks. I know it's probably not going to happen in today's sports world, but being a fan and rooting for this Bucks team, the Bucks are only relevant when Giannis is on this team. Nick chiming in here too says no way do I want to trade Giannis. Sure, he brings maybe a little bit of drama to the table, but honestly, what pro athlete doesn't bring some drama to the table? Josh says trade him. Seems like every year there's so much drama surrounding Giannis, and he's been hurt the last 3 years. Mike says no to trading Giannis. Get him some help, and let's see if we can win another championship. You don't trade away a franchise piece, especially when money isn't a factor. All right, so it's about 80%, 75% maybe, saying saying to keep Giannis. So, okay. Appreciate a couple more texts from other people. I can't say that stuff about other people, but I appreciate that. So, let's keep it clean, all right? It's supposed to be a feel-good Tuesday, all right? Speaking of which, what are some of your sports confessions, all right? What are some of your sports confessions that you would like to throw out there? Send them on over, 715-830-1912. Or you can also chime in on the video stream. All right, so you can do that on Section 105 on the YouTube chat. Also, don't forget it is a Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. I think everybody, Brewers fans, is grinding their gears about Wilson Contreras. If you got something else, you can throw that in there. But if you still want to grind your gears about Wilson Contreras, that's what Grind My Gears is all about. So, but you can send those on over here too. Also, it is I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. All right. So you can send those on over too if your heart desires. Let's take a quick break. I do want to talk a little green and gold as we continue our draft prospect series. So we'll take a look at a couple more potential prospects here for the green and gold. So we got RJ Cardinal coming up in about 30 minutes or so. So we'll talk some hoops with him, and we'll talk a little Badger hockey. All right, let's take a quick break. And we'll be back with plenty more to wrap up the second hour coming up after these quick words. Hey, sometimes accidents happen, but getting your vehicle back to normal doesn't have to be stressful. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, they specialize in getting your vehicle looking right again after dents, dings, or even collisions. And the best part, they handle the insurance process for you, working directly with your provider to make things simple and hassle-free. No runaround, no confusion, just quality work and a team that's got your back every step of the way. Get your vehicle back on the road with confidence. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, where the job gets done right. So, all right, we've got a few minutes left here. Coming up at the top of the hour, coming up just past the top of the hour, we're going to chat with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Talk some Badgers with him. We'll talk a little John Blackwell's decision to leave the Badgers, and take a look at the Badger men's hockey team with their Frozen Four matchup. We'll hit that up coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. We'll kick off the next hour, taking a look at some Packers prospect series, and take a look at some potential picks. I was looking at some more mock drafts from the analysts and such, and we're going to kind of factor in the players that are coming in on top 30 visits for the Packers too. Because a lot of those times, obviously Green Bay doesn't have a first-round pick. We all know this and that. But a lot of those times they pick those, or they make those visits with later draft picks or maybe undrafted free agents and such. So, but we'll do that to kick off the 8 o'clock hour and such. So you can continue to send us your Grind My Gears Tuesday stuff. So we'll do that coming up here in a little bit. We've got some confessions to make in that. So, but we've got more Brewers talk as well. We've got, a lot of you chiming in right now and saying that Contreras is your Grind My Gears Tuesday. So, we have Matt on our texting line that said over under Contreras gets plunked, set the line at half. I'll go the under, but with Mizorowski out there kind of being the wild card with this whole thing, I don't know. That might be the wild card in this thing. So, trying to catch up. Paul says Jordan Spieth number one by far after his collapse, hitting balls into the water. I feel like he's been there. Next would be Ricky Fowler. Is that are you rooting for to win, or give me a little bit more context on that, Paul, on the video stream? So, but all right, yeah, we'll have a little Masters chats coming up a little bit later on. But you can send me your predictions now if you want, because we are opening round Thursday, so we're just a couple days away from that. If you want to send in your predictions and such for the Masters, but. What else do we got on here? We'll I love the tag team that we got from Evan and Jim on texting. That's cute. That's really cute. So that's called Muted on there too. So nice try, guys. But all right, we only got a couple minutes left here. We go through a couple more texts. We've got Paul on here saying, excited for today's matchup between Jacob Mizorowski and, okay, that's supposed to be Garrett Groschette. Excited for Jacob Mizorowski and Garrett Groschette with this matchup. I hope it lives up to the hype here. I'm excited to see if Miz can perform at another high level like he did last year with Paul Skeens and Clayton Kershaw. Do you think the moment will get a little bit too big, though, with Contreras on there? So... I don't know. I guess, I did think about that too. Would he be thinking about the whole Contreras thing? I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a mind game. But again, Mizorowski has pitched at such high levels. He's experienced in those big spotlight moments, right? I mean, he's gone up against Skeens. He's gone up against all of those guys. So I don't think the moment's going to be too bright. He might have a little bit of nerves and butterflies in the first half. But I think, again, that's where the other Contreras, William Contreras, has been so good with these younger pitchers, is to kind of get them to check in, to calm down a little bit, to stay focused. The interesting thing is going to be with Contreras behind the dish. Who's going to be more nervous in this? Is it going to be his brother behind there, worried about, okay, if somebody's going to get plunked, his brother's out there saying that he's going to take somebody out? It's got to be an awkward situation for William. So, Clay says, to all those who think we should let Giannis go, maybe we can get Gary Payton again. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off here. So, 2 in, we got 2 more to go. Let's take a quick break. We got some news updates, and we'll talk a little football, take a look at a couple of prospects. We're going to take I think this morning, we'll look at some guys who have been reported to be top 30 visits for the Packers and see, all right, would they be good fits for this team? Good fits. And we've been really focusing on the defense, and we'll get to some offensive linemen and such tier 2, but I think that's obviously been